this morning from our Abuja network studio. We shall be looking at the APC crisis. If you've been following the trends of events in the nations recently, you understand that the party in power, well, I wouldn't want to toe the line of some party members who have said the party is in crisis, while the governors of the Progressive Governor Forum, as they call them, have come out to debunk that claim that there is no crisis in the party. What we're seeing is a normal, normal policies, party policies as they call it, is happening. But this morning we shall be looking at all that and the way forward for the party in power, that is the All Progressive Congress. What should we be expecting very soon going forward in terms of providing the right governance? Because I know it will affect all other areas of governance. When you look at the way the National Assembly is being structured, the party is holding sway there, and the way the president is going about is ensuring that the party is together. So I have Comrade Philip Ikodo, is the National Youth Leader of the Amalgamated APC Support Groups. A very good morning to you.
It's my pleasure.
All right, let's begin with the events that led to the sudden resignation of your former chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, Senator Abdullahi Adamu. Can you bring us up to speed? Was that expected, or we just is normal gimmicks in politics?
Okay, thank you very much. I must correct an impression. We actually have no crisis in the party. So what you just saw is just a transition, transition of leadership. And I must say, I must commend Senator Abdullahi Adamu for that gesture that he put up. Because over time, we have been hearing people complaining and this attitude of stay and die in a position. But here, he has done his bit and he has decided to...
But he has not completed his tenure, and you said he has done his bit.
Yes.
He resigned before his tenure completed.
Of course. When you feel you've done the best you can and you want to move on, you can. It's not sacrosanct that you must have to complete your tenure. So when you feel you are putting your best and maybe you have some other endeavors to go into, you can always put in your resignation and move on. And I think I must commend him for that, because over time we have seen cases where people will have to now clamor for you to leave your position.
But if you go down history, you understand that in your party leadership, only one person, I recall, Yogun, is the only one that I could say completed his tenure. Others never got to the end of their tenure. And now you are now saying that Adamu resigned because he has achieved what he wanted to do.
Of course. What would you say he has achieved? Because it was under his leadership that APC emerged as victorious in the last election. You can't take that away from him. And if you look at the whole process, how everything panned out, you understand that it was actually part of the whole activities. In all the campaign, he was there. So, there's no way anybody justified that there was any, internal crisis or whatever, because he has shown, yes, there might be maybe some pain, one or two, perception, but in my own opinion, I feel that he has done what he needs to do. Because if you're talking about under which leadership did APC win this last election, of course, you can't take it away from him.
I think you're towing a different line from other persons. You're trying to make us understand that there's no crisis in the APC. But if you listen to some parties stalwart who have been talking about this issue, some persons have blamed his misdoing on his intention to impose a presidential candidate during the last primaries that brought in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As one of the reasons some persons are not happy with him, or somebody are saying Nemesis just caught up with him in that way. And while others said due to financial misappropriation, and you are here saying he did well and he did well. I don't understand.
Actually, these are all speculations. because I don't think there's any white paper that has come out to, kind of prove all this. These are all speculations. Of course, we all saw what panned out during the last time, just like you alluded right now. Yes, these politics, these are differences, that people tend to put up, in politics. But talking about the issues that led to its resignation, of course, nobody has come out today to read out the contents of that resignation letter, right? Everybody just knew he has just put up his letter of resignation. And mind you, he's not the only one that put up his letter of resignation. The secretary also did too. So it could be this, they want to move on. I mean, they have gotten to a time in their life where they need to move on. He's not young, he's not getting younger.
But the NWC, other members of the NWC are alleging that these two principal officers, we are not carrying them along in terms of party affairs, especially some other organs of the party were freeze. Just the two of them were running affairs of the secretariat.
Yes, I believe I want to kind of consent with them as well. Yes, they were.
But don't you think that could have been some of the reasons why probably somebody must have spoken to them at the back door and said, look, you have to step aside.
But of course,
to avoid
yeah, of course, when you say somebody must have spoken to them, there are no kids that people can just throw them around. If you can actually, they are in the position where they can actually, a kind of judge themselves, a kind of analyze the bits they are put on. And if they find out that it's not something that should be, worth the while, they can only but, put up their resignation. You understand? Of course, there are differences, like I said, like the issues of not carrying people along, the issues of, even during the elections, there were the speculations of, the kind of anti-party and all that, right? But if you have judged yourself, if you have analyzed your activities and you've seen that it's not what's the while, what do? You have to throw in the towel. What I'm saying is that, yeah, they might, like you said, some other, party member have come out to say, yeah, they actually did not, do what was expected. But the point I'm making is that this is dividends of democracy. For the first time, we are seeing people who have come out to say, okay, we are, throwing in the towel. We are, resigning formally. I mean, I must commend them for that, because they have not given the room for any crisis going to court or whatever. You understand? So that's why I'm trying to say there's no internal crisis, because if they are, unlike before now, you discover that by now you would have seen that, okay, they are in court, fighting one or two things, or maybe trying to push one or two agendas against them. But this is the case. They quietly had dropped their resignation letter and they have moved on.
So are you saying nobody have seen the contents of that resignation letter?
I have not seen it, and to my understanding, have you heard anybody that have come to analyze what the contents of their resignation letter is? Of course, I have not heard about that for now. All we know that they have tendered their resignation, and that, in my mind, in my opinion, it's quite commendable.
Okay, let's look at the position of the party. Like you mentioned, some persons already were commending them for taking that step, and then others were still thinking that probably they should be probed into some of the allegations that were leveled against them, even though you said nobody has come out to prove, or nobody has said this is why they actually resigned. Now, in the normal sense, if a party leadership wants to resign, what is the normal process? Or probably if there is a problem and you want somebody to step down, is there not supposed to be like a congress before this?
Yes, there's supposed to be like a congress if you go to the party, constitutions and stuff like that. Because I think, in my understanding, there's no room for, there hasn't been any room for like resignation or stuff like that, right? But this is their own personal opinion. For God's sake, we are not running a dictatorship kind of government. If it's a democratic government, if you feel that you are okay with the services you've been rendering and you want to move on, of course, nothing can stop you from putting in your resignation. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? That they have moved on. Now, if if there's actually an allegation against them, and there's proof to that, nothing stops the party leadership or whoever that wants to, kind of go through litigation and to, bring them to book. I don't have a problem about that. But until that's actually proven, then I feel that I commend them for tendering their
But do you
resignation.
see any chances of the party trying to probe these two persons, looking at the allegation against them?
The issue right now is, like you said, if there's allegation against them, if the party wishes to probe them, they can go ahead. That's the normal thing to do, to bring them to book, for them to come and answer to whatever flaws that they have find themselves during their tenure. You understand? It's just the simple things to do, because we're looking at justice. This is a democratic process, right? So what needs to be done has to be done. So if actually they found them guilty or wanting in one way or the other, they have to bring them to book. But the point I'm making is that for you to, you can see that it's something that most people in Nigeria are even surprised. They are nonplussed about it. Hearing that somebody tendered his resignation, that is a plus to me. That is dividends of democracy. People now are now living up to that expectation that if I judge myself not doing the right thing, the best thing is for me to throw in the towel.
And that's the word I wanted to hear from you. Yes. Because you said he has done his best, and you just said now that if you are judged not to have done the right thing, the best thing is to throw in the towel. Now, the quest for replacement, furthermore, is another issue that is springing up in the party. Yes. If you look at the party structure and down to the National Assembly and all that, the position of the national chairman of the party was zoned to the North Central. Yes. And now there are allegations, or there are speculations, that the person who they are penciling down for a replacement is from the Northwest, as the former governor of Kano State. Okay. Does that not go against the party structure?
Well, like you said, it's
speculation.
Even
the Governors Forum,
yes.
the Progressive Governors Forum also came out, and they said they are in support of
But that's their opinion. That's their opinion. Nobody has come out, tentatively to say this is what it is. That if the party, all I know is that the party must follow the party constitution. If the party constitution has said that it has to be zoned to the North Central, so be it. You understand? And I think that the party that I know, our party, my party follows due process, right? So these are people's opinion. Nobody has come out to say this is what, until until the whole process has been concluded. We cannot actually come out to conclude that this is what.
So going forward, what are we expecting in terms of leadership selection? What do we expect? Where are we getting a replacement from? Is it from the North Central as it is?
No, of course. In my opinion, I believe that since the past chairman, has not actually finished his tenure, we have an acting chairman at the moment, and I believe that the party will do well to follow by the party constitution, to ensure that we replace the party chairmanship with someone.
So have there been names, proposed name for these positions from the North Central?
For now, names are flying, but we cannot come out to say these are, until I would beg to want to be silent about that until, everything is done and dusted.
So how has this affected, in any way, has it affected the party in terms of its position as the ruling party? Because the same incident had happened in the PDP prior to the primaries.
Sure.
We saw what happened, the issue of zoning and all that. Sure. Now, looking at your party now, would you say that the party is stable in terms of party policy? Then secondly, going forward, what should we be expecting that the APC will be doing in a crisis like this?
Absolutely. I believe the party is stable, very, very stable. And that's why you saw that there's, like I said, nobody has come out to say there's a specific content about that letter, right? Going forward, the party will do the needful and will move on, because right now, politics is over. So it's policy that should be in place.